Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on Exodus chapter 4. And previously we had read about how God was talking to Moses through the burning bush that never was consumed, and he is sending Moses on a mission to take his people out of Egypt. But Moses is going to give some excuses to God, as we'll read about here. Then Moses answered, "But behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice. For they will say, 'The Lord did not appear to you.'" The Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" He said, "A staff." And he said, "Throw it on the ground." So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses ran from it. But the Lord said to Moses, "Put out your hand and catch it by the tail." So he put out his hand and caught it, and it became a staff in his hand. "That they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you." Again the Lord said to him, "Put your hand inside your cloak." And when he put his hand inside his cloak, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous like snow. Then God said, "Put your hand back inside your cloak." So he put his hand back inside his cloak, and when he took it out, behold, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. "If they will not believe you," God said, "or listen to the first sign, they may believe the latter sign. If they will not believe even these two signs or listen to your voice, you shall take some water from the Nile and pour it on the dry ground, and the water that you shall take from the Nile will become blood on the dry ground." But Moses said to the Lord, "O my Lord, I am not eloquent, either in the past or since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and of tongue." Then the Lord said to him, "Who has made man's mouth? Who makes him mute or deaf or seeing or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Therefore go, and I will be your mouth, and teach you what you shall speak." So the Lord gives to Moses some signs, ways to show that the power of the Lord is there working through Moses. And Moses comes up with another excuse that, well, he doesn't speak well. And the Lord reminds him that who is the one that gives all of these abilities to people? It is him. In fact, we'll see that the Lord gives speech to even the mute. We read in Mark 7, starting at verse 32. "And they brought him a man who was deaf and had a speech impediment, and they begged him to lay his hand on him. And taking him aside from the crowd privately, he put his fingers into his ears, and after spitting, touched his tongue. And looked up to heaven, he sighed and said to him, 'Ephphatha,' that is, be open. And his ears were open, his tongue released, and he spoke plainly." So the Lord does indeed have power over speech, sight, hearing. And he says that he will do the same for Moses, that he will be his mouth. Verse 13, though, shows what Moses has to say. "But he said, 'O my Lord, please send someone else.' Then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, 'Is there not Aaron your brother, the Levite? I know that he can speak well. Behold, he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be your mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you both what to do. He shall speak for you to the people, and he shall be your mouth, and you shall be as God to him. And take in your hand this staff, with which you shall do the signs." The Lord tells basically Moses, no matter what excuse you have, I will work through you to make sure that my people are taken out of Egypt. We'll continue reading to see how Moses and God work to release the people from Egypt. We'll pick up next time with Exodus chapter 4, starting at verse 18. As always, please subscribe to the channel, share this with others so that they may also read the Bible with Pastor.